What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Fedcast. Today we have Bencjones joining us. This is not my greatest intro. I do not have a monster in me, but you drank a monster already. But let's just get into it, man. So as podcasting goes, usually we get 10 to 15 minutes of people's actual attention span before they click off the video. So let's go right into your album release. You're doing the show is at
The Post,
which used to be
Birdies,
and then before that it was
Lola's.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's the old Lola's. It's the old Lola's. It's the old Birdies. I have a show on June 13th, Friday, June 13th. You guys are all invited. It is my album release show. I have an album dropping through Amplify 817 exclusively. It's called All We Really Needed Was a Chance. And tickets are going to be $10 online plus tax. It's $14 at the door. We're going to have merch there for the first time, T-shirts, buttons. We got some really cool sponsors. I think we'll be giving away some merch from Raw Brewery. And then Amplify 817 is going to be there also. Guys, come on out, stream the album, check it on out. I'm really proud of this one. It kicks a lot of ass.
Yeah. You sound excited about it.
Yeah.
And you cut a hell of a promo. That was really good because some people are like, the next thing that I say, and so Record Hall is performing that day?
Right, yeah.
Dave Cave?
It's not just me, yeah. We're going to have Riker start things off, then Dave Cave. Riker by himself, Dave Cave with his full band. Then my band will play from 9 to 10-ish. And then we have a Cool Down with Reagan Beard. And she used to go by Reagan James. She was a top 10 finalist on The Voice. She's got some really cool neo-soul that she brings to it. But you don't have to leave once we're done. But I know it's a Friday night. Some people are like, oh, it's 10. I'm ready to call it. But if you want to keep on chilling with us, she'll be performing also.
Nice. Okay, man. So, like I messaged you before we did this, like yesterday. You know, it's always good for the engagement, like to not have like crazy conversations before we record.
Yeah.
So getting to know each other on camera, and like so, I've seen you around. Like I said, our brief conversation. I've seen you around. Never met you like and acknowledged you were the same person on socials and everything, and. So you approached me about doing this, and I was like, yeah, bro, you're around, you're here, you're performing, and we'll get into the open mic reviews. I want to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think that's a really cool concept. But like, so I'll go through your music, and bro, you have a lot of music.
Yeah, I'm pretty prolific.
This is 6. Did I read that right?
Yeah, this is the 6th album. It's the 4th LP. So LP is like, in the music terms, you got 7 songs or longer. EP is usually like 6 or less.
Okay.
So I got 2 EPs, and this is my 4th LP.
Yeah, that's a lot of music.
Yeah, so Bencjones, I've been Bencjones since 2019, and yeah, so I guess that's like an album a year.
Yeah.
That I'm just kind of keeping up and just trying to let people know I got songs. I'm a prolific writer, and I just enjoy it. It's fun for me.
Yeah.
To be at my house and write songs. The performing part of it, that's something that's different because like I read somewhere they were like, listen, if you want people to take you serious, number one, you got to be on social media. So I was never on social media. I'm like, fuck social media. I want to stay away from that shit. It's toxic. But they're like, you got to have it. So I went ahead and I got that. And they also said you got to perform live. Like for them to really take you serious, you got to perform live. So I had to put together a whole band and all of that. And that's been a different beast. But the true love is just writing the music and producing it and putting it out.
Yeah. It is a whole different beast. Social media in general, just being a normal person on social media, and then having a podcast page. It's like it's too much. Like I just forget about the podcast page a lot. Like, oh, I haven't recorded anything. Let me put like a motivational thing on there. That sounds good. Good job. Yeah, encouraged you, and then step off of it. But when you talk about putting a full band together and then trying to get shows set up, trying to perform. And then, so let's get into the open mic thing. How did this go about that you wanted to start reviewing open mics?
Well, okay, so I've heard stuff like you have to do different things to get people to pay attention to you on social media. They're always saying stuff like, like, it's not just about the music, it's about doing other stuff too. Like, what can you do to, like, stand out? And I'm like, dude, I don't want to, like, shave my head or do something silly, whatever. Like, we went to this one thing at a Here Fort Worth meeting. A guy was like, yeah, I shaved, like, in my chest, like, outline of, like, a bird or whatever. And I'm like, okay, I can't even grow chest hair.
The thing is, I know exactly who you're talking about. I'm not going to name drop or anything, but I'm like 96% sure I know who you're talking about.
So I was like, what can I do? And then it just kind of struck with me, like, what about open mic reviews? There's, like, all these open mics in Dallas, Fort Worth. I can just drive around, put together, like, a 90-second video that's just super short, quick, simple, let people know what's going on, when it is, who's hosting it, what the place is. And then just spread the word. And that's actually has worked to where, like, I'm getting followers. Sometimes I get followers off of, like, Bencjones ads that I put out there, but, like, I've been getting followers just naturally just off of putting those open mic reviews, and people are following along trying to figure out, well, where else can I play? People get stuck going to the same open mics, and they kind of get into this habit, and I think sometimes it's hard for them to kind of bust out and see, well, what else is out there. So I think I'm offering that as a service for them to follow along and check out my stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's true, but it's weird as an artist, like, you want to perform, and then it's weird, like, to get a residency somewhere where you perform constantly and, like, you're, like, hosting the open mic, or you're just there playing. It works for some people, and for other people, like, you do get stuck in a rut, and then you don't have those other opportunities at other places. And it's for, like, a DJ wants a residency. He needs a residency because like, hey, you ever been there? Yeah, I'm there Thursday and Fridays. Like, I'm the guy that's why everybody shows up, because the music's, like, for a DJ it's one thing, but as an artist, it's not the same thing. It's not,
and there's some artists where they're doing it, and I think they're just doing it just because it's paying bills and they're getting paid off of it and stuff.
For sure.
They're meeting people. I don't know. I think it's a mixed bag. I mean, some people I think really love it. Other people are kind of just doing it. But it is cool to go around and see the different open mics and how they do it and how they run their open mics and stuff. And then sometimes you see some of the same people. Sometimes you see different people.
Yeah.
So it's been very interesting and opening. I'm down to travel wherever to check it out and see what's going on and try to promote. And I think it works out because I'm promoting their open mic and promoting the venue, the host, and then I'm also, like,
promoting your page.
I'm promoting my page, and I usually just use my music. In the background. So it's my song Violet off of my latest album, and I just kind of took away all the lyrics and kind of stripped it down a little bit, and it's just kind of like, that's kind of some upbeat music, but it's, psychologically they're hearing that.
What song is that?
Well, I think I've heard that before.
Because you did was it Magnolia Motor Lounge that's on the traffic circle over there? It used to be like a army bar or something, like Royal One back in the day, and it was not a place that I would have ever gone into. And I still haven't been in the building because I don't know anybody who goes in there. And then when I saw it, I was like, oh, look, that looks kind of chill. Like, maybe I should go hang out there one night.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think, for some people, they're like, should I go?
Yeah.
And then they see that, and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, the place is super chill and laid back. And
yeah, there's always venues, like the new Lola's that closed down, that used to be Berry Street Ice House. Man, I really like that venue. The indoor, they had the stage, and then they built that pit in the back, and it had a full stage, and then
I know they invested all that.
They just closed. There's just nothing there. It's for sale. But I mean, I don't feel like the music that Lola's was putting on is that neighborhood's genre, because it's a bunch of TCU kids, and I don't really know. I don't know what TCU kids listen to. I'm not sure.
I think it goes to show that it's also really hard to run these businesses based off of local music. I know here Fort Worth and Visit Fort Worth, they want this to be the next Austin or New Orleans, and it has that ability, but people only rally for established big artists. So, like, Leon Bridges, for example, he's playing over theaters all around the country on his tour, and then when he came to Fort Worth, he's playing at a sold-out Dickies show. Joe Jonas. I just saw this the other day. You see that on
pop up?
He did a pop-up over at Tannehill's.
Yeah.
It's packed. So Fort Worth people love music, but they're not going to come out in droves for local music for whatever reason. Local music, they're like,
They want the established artists.
They want the established. They're like, if you can get big, we will freaking sell out.
We'll back you up.
Dickies, but until then, and I think it's just a reality, unfortunately, that we're just kind of dealing with. It's just kind of tough to, I don't know, to get people to show up to shows. That's kind of why I'm going around trying to get people excited about the June 13th show over at the Post. It's only like a 100-person venue.
Yeah.
And just trying to sell that out, I think it's going to be a challenge.
Friday night, it's good that it's on a Friday. During the week, there's no way.
Yeah, there's no way.
It has to be on a Friday. Because I've been in shows. I've been to shows that have been promoted all over social media. Ad money gets run and everything, and it's like at Tulips, and it's like there's like maybe 60 people in there, and it's like, man, they really put money behind this, advertising it, pushing it, gave away some tickets on social media, and it's just like you can't pack a house out.
It is one of the toughest things to do when you're a local Fort Worth artist, to sell out a venue. And there was a meeting that I went to, one of these Here Fort Worth meetings, and if you guys are into music, I would definitely recommend that you go to the Here Fort Worth meetings. It's the first Tuesday of every month. They move around a lot. The last one was at the Post, but they had one over at Printed Threads, and whenever they have it at Printed Threads, it's a kind of like a musical like class on how to like run your business and whatever. That's where they had the social media guy that was there.
It's more of a Q&A too. It's like you can ask some questions. There's a spot to hey,
exactly. And on this particular one, it was kind of the goals that you should have, and one of the former manager of Charlie Crockett was there. And he was like, the goal should be for a local musician is to sell out a venue. And my hand went up like, how the hell do you do that? Like, how do you, he goes, we got to think about who's playing. You got to think about the size of the venue. And so I took all that stuff into consideration. He goes, and think about how long you want to promote this thing. So I was like, okay. And like, what's the excuse? So, new album. I'm like, okay, there's the excuse. I tried to reach out to bigger bands. I was like, I don't even have to be the closer, Well, let's get some other big bands, and that was a challenge, getting people to contact me back. I'm like, if y'all don't want my money, like I was ready to spend some cash, I was like, here's a 4-figure deal for some bands, and I couldn't break through. And then the guy also talked about the size of the venue. He goes, think about the size of the venue. You don't have to play a giant place if you're trying to sell it out. And so I was thinking about Tulips.
Yeah.
I was talking to Jason about it, and he's like, yeah, so, we're about a 450. And I'm like, there's no way. We can get 450 people.
I went.
There's no way.
So, Lou Charles.
Yeah.
So the last show that I went to at Tulips that he performed at versus the one that he did like 2 years ago.
Was that the Mullen and Mullen free show that they had?
I think.
Was it this year?
Yeah. That was the. I can't remember. It was a festival that was all over.
Yeah. That was the Mullen and Mullen, whatever it was. Yeah.
But the last one that Lou did his own festival, The Last Dance or whatever, that was like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I mean, Lou got artists from Houston, got artists from all over. And I mean, it was assholes and elbows. Like there was no room. You couldn't move around in that place.
That was an expensive ticket too. That was like a $20 ticket too. I remember going $20.
And it came with a drink.
Yeah.
The Van Dross. I remember that drink, and I was like, "Dang, what was in that?" And no one knows. No one can tell me. But I would like to have another one of those one day. But yeah, just watching shows at Tulips, and then I like the Old Post. I really did that whole venue, the outdoor with the open roof, and then the indoor, and then when they do festivals and stuff there, and I was like, dang man, this is just a cool venue. And then had shut down, and then they moved, and
Have you been to the new place?
No. Okay. So it's not Birdie's at all. Or the Birdie's still in the back end?
Yeah, so Birdie's is on the back end. They get the outdoor stage and like that whole area that's outdoors and whatnot. And then the indoor spot The old Lola's. That's the new post.
Okay.
And so I don't know. I guess they have a partnership together, or
I don't know. Birdies is too colorful for me. It's just not my jam. And that's coming from a guy wearing tie-dye shorts right now. And I'm just like, I've been there twice. And then I know Trend does those open mics there.
Yeah. Well, the open mics are now indoors over at the Post.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and speaking of that, I will be the featured guest on the 21st of May. So hopefully this will be out before then.
Oh yeah, this will be out. This will be out this week.
Yeah. So the last show that you said you went to for Lou Charles, how was that as far as the turnout?
It was a Wednesday night.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. I mean, I thought there would be more people there, but Lou acknowledged it, and he was like, "I appreciate everybody that showed up."
Yeah.
Because Lou hasn't performed in Fort Worth since I think we had a Mayfest or a Arts Festival performance.
Yeah.
A year back or something.
And it's a Wednesday night too.
And on a Wednesday night, that's the biggest thing. It's like if a Friday night or a Saturday night, even the early 5 p.m. Sunday show or something, better chances of packing anything out other than a Wednesday. So.
Yeah, and that was the other thing, too. You got to think about what night you're playing. And I talked to Jason. He goes, well, you're local. So, obviously Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights, I can, get you in on those. And then, I talked to Brooks over at the Post. He's like, yeah, I'll give you Friday. I'm like, oh, okay, that's great.
Yeah.
I mean, Saturday's better, but,
I think one thing that Fort Worth is lacking, like you talked about for the local music scene, when you look at what are your options and where you can perform. Like you said, Tulip said there were 450.
Yeah.
Post is about 100. If the back end at Birdie's, if you did a show back there with all that open space and standing room only, I feel like you could fit 1,000 people in that back end.
Yeah.
If you were really trying to pack it out.
If you're trying to pack it out, yeah.
But
where's everybody going to park?
Yeah. but I sit there and think about, because I was helping an artist for a while, and just behind the scenes stuff. I wasn't getting paid. It was just helping a buddy out. And we were talking about doing a show, and I was like, what are your options in Fort Worth if we were going to do something? And there's not really that many options as a local artist with the amount of money that you would want to put in, like you said, on a Friday or Saturday, and a normal of 100 to 300 people. There's not that many normalized venues to do that at. And Dallas opens up a different door.
Yeah, definitely.
Arlington does too. But then you don't have it's hard if you're a DFW based artist or if you're a Fort Worth based artist.
Right.
And there's a whole lot more that goes into this than people really give anybody credit for. So
yeah, I feel like if you're a smaller band and you live in Fort Worth and you're trying to do 100-person venue, I mean, the Post is probably your best bet for it to be an actual venue. But you can also, there's other places you can go to, like on Magnolia. You could reach out to the Boiled Owl.
yeah,
You can reach out to Grandma's. There was one more on there too that I was thinking about.
they shut down Mass, right? And they reopened it to something else?
Cicada. That's
Cicada,
the other one.
that's what it is,
Cicada's
yeah.
I think a 250 max spot. But yeah, it shows at Cicada. You could play at the Chat Room.
Yeah.
I mean, there's smaller spots, and then maybe you could also have the same mentality with stuff like the Distribution Bar. I know they've done music over there before. Avoca Coffee, I'm sure would be open. There's places
Because they do an open mic there too, right?
they do the open mic there, yeah, and that. Interestingly, you got the largest amount of views from my open mic review that I've ever.
Because you're hitting a niche market with coffee.
There was something.
Open mic, and I don't know.
Well, I also invited them to be a collaborator, Avoca, and they said yes.
Oh yeah. Anytime you get someone to say okay on the collab, it's definitely going to help out.
So that I think that helped. But then at the same time, the following week I did Atlas with Amanda Vittoria. She's the host, and then it's a Trend thing. And by the way, I invited Trend on. It's supposed to be a Trend thing for Avoca, but they didn't accept. But then with Amanda's, they did.
Yeah.
But it got way less.
Yeah. Shout out to Amanda though.
Oh yeah.
She is a talent.
Yeah, she kicks ass, man. We're working on a little project.
Oh yeah.
Just her singing. I guess both of us singing. The music is a little bit different. It's kind of more 80s.
All right.
But just like a little 3-song, EP, just for fun, just to branch out and work with different people and collaborate. I'm a big fan of collaborations right now.
All right, man. So we do a normal segment where we do cult classics, and I told you I made the reference. Didn't want to hear if you had one, but like one for me, a cult classic, like for example, like the Goonies. Mm-hmm. Everybody doesn't know what the Goonies is.
Yeah.
But for me, it's one of those movies I can just put on. I love that movie. I have Goonies T-shirts. For the longest time, my text message notification was, "Hey, you guys," sloth like calling out. But you got a cult classic movie, something that you're just like, oh yeah, that's a movie that just hits home for me.
There's one movie, and I just thought about this movie recently, and not a lot of people know about it. It's a classic movie from the 1980s. It's a high school movie. And it's about this nerdy, school journalist guy who's supposed to interview this new kid. The new kid's a total just badass bully. Like, you don't mess with the kid. You don't touch him. And in the movie, he ends up grabbing. He goes, "All right, we don't have to do the interview. It's okay." And he hits him, and the cinematography is so great because you see him look down like, "I can't believe you just touched me." And he picks him up and
what's the name of this movie?
Dude, I'm telling you, this movie is great. So basically the bully says, "Now I gotta let off some steam, Jerry. Me and you after school, we're gonna fight." And it's just the kids is I don't want to fight you, dude. I'm gonna get my ass kicked. And so for the rest of the movie, he's trying to freaking get out from fighting this guy. He's doing everything to get suspended. At one point, he's in English class and ends up kissing the teacher, thinking this is gonna get me suspended, but she's into it.
The worst time to not get rejected.
Yeah, she was like, "Damn, okay." And he tries to pay this badass football player to beat him up, and the bully kicks the football player's ass. Anyways, the movie's called 3 O'Clock High.
3 O'Clock High.
Dude, it is an amazing cult classic movie that not a lot of people know about. It's well done. And at the very end, he faces his fear. But there's a moment there where he tries to pay the bully off. And the bully's just like, "All right, fine. But how's it feel to know you didn't even try? You didn't even try." And that part always stuck with me.
Yeah.
You didn't even fucking try to get in a shot. But in the end, anyways, they still face off at the end. You guys, you got to see this movie. You're missing out if you haven't seen it.
The real concept, you didn't even try. Mm-hmm. So, there's a reel that pops up. Ryan Reynolds is quoting Eminem. You only get one shot. You only get one opportunity.
Yeah.
From 8 Mile.
Mom spaghetti.
Yeah. So me and my cousin Vincent, when one of the other co-hosts, when he's here, we were watching. I guess we were watching Messi in the World Cup. And I was we were sitting there watching it, and it's the kickoff at the very end of the game, they're doing shootout. And they're going, "You one shot, you get one shot." And then the bartender at the Rabbit Hole goes, "One opportunity." And then me and we look at each other like, damn, I did just say one shot really loud. And then so we went into the full concept. But that whole idea has been sitting with me here as of late. That, man, you got to take some chances. You got to do some stuff. You got to put yourself out there in some uncomfortable spots, and you just got to do it scared. Just do it scared.
I feel not necessarily one shot. I mean, I feel in America you have multiple chances to
That's true.
to do it. But I mean, I do get the idea behind one shot. Make this shit count.
Yeah.
And there are situations where you got a lot on the line, and you just got to go forward.
Yeah.
And do the best you can do and make it happen. Absolutely.
And we'll just segue into, this podcast got switched over from the Six Pack podcast when I was a raging alcohol abuser.
Yeah.
And I ended up in jail, DWI, all that jazz. So when I came out of that, I was like, I got to change this up. I can't. For one, I'm on probation. I did 610 days sober, like from the night I got arrested till when I came off probation. So when I was recording then, early on, I was like, man, I want to do something else. And people are talking about, oh, you're fighting your demons. And I think there's more to fighting your demons and our mental health. So I was like, oh, facing and embracing demons. I was like, fed. And I was like, oh, that sounds cool. That looks like a cool logo. I can use that. Yeah. And now I'm just like, I've got too much invested in like stickers.
I didn't know if it was fed or if it was like effed.
Yeah, my cousin's husband said the same thing.
That's what I thought. I was like,
just fucked.
Because I was watching your journey and I was like, oh man, he feels like he's effed after.
Yeah, it was
driving around and.
There's been I think there's like 3 people that have made that reference, and I'm like, I could go put a little apostrophe right there,
right?
And it wouldn't. But then I didn't want people to think like FED, like fuck erectile dysfunction. Like, so I was like, no. That's not.
There should be no confusion.
No, let's not get into that one. But all right, man. So in the music, moving forward as you're going, how do you keep that positive track? How do you stay on course, and in life in general?
Well, yeah, man. I mean, listen, I've had to face my demons. I've had my ups and my downs, especially in this business. There's been opportunities that I've had that I've, mom spaghetti, I let that shit slip through my fingers. My ego, my insecurity. There's a lot of things that I've had to face along the ways. And in the end, I think all that stuff has just made me stronger. I'm a lot more graceful these days. I have a lot more humility. I have a lot more empathy for people, and I'm a lot more forgiving. I used to be very stern on that, like, fucking, I'll forget, but I won't ever forgive. And I think forgiving is so powerful. I met this guy who got shot in the face after 9/11 by this angry dude who's like a white supremacist going around just shooting random dudes at gas stations for revenge. Got shot in the face, man, and he was like, "Dude, you gotta learn how to forgive people." And he went around and he forgave that guy, and he tried to get that guy off of death row. Oh, shit. And that guy was just like, brother, had I known you, the way we know each other now, I never would have did any of that stuff, Yeah. So you see how the power of like forgiving and can change people. I've been I was an educator for many years also, and the kids are all about pushing buttons and stuff. So learning to de-escalate situations, I think, was really important for me. Learning to laugh at myself. Yeah. There was one time I had to take a paper to this kid in detention, and the kid was like, they had it in the cafeteria, and when I walked in, I'm like at the very back end, and the kids are all the way at the front, and all the kids are facing the same direction. And as I walk, I just hear this, and I give the kid this stuff, and I turn around, and the kids are all snickering and laughing. And I turn to this girl, I'm like, what's so funny? And the girl goes, mister, you have toilet paper hanging out of your back. So I had just used the bathroom, and when I pulled my pants up, the toilet paper got stuck like a tail hanging out. And there's just no graceful way of just being like...
Yeah, sometimes it's just...
trying to be super cool. You just got to just be like, you know what? Yeah. It's funny. Yeah. And... so, man, all that stuff to say, it's just that your mental mindset is that you can't take life too serious. You got to enjoy it, and you're gonna make mistakes along the way. And as long as you're humble and you're graceful when you're winning and in defeat, then I think it just you keep a steady perspective on everything. I think that just kind of helps in the end to just be positive and stay focused. I mean, again, I love just to write the music. I'm always going to write the music. Nobody can tell me I can't do it, and I'm going to put the music out, and that's just what's up. And then and hopefully people can accept that no matter what. And maybe along the way, man, maybe I will get some additional opportunities. Maybe things circle back around, and doors open back up and stuff. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Man, that was a really good answer. I mean,
Thanks.
sometimes when I ask people, I gave you a little bit like, hey man, I'm going to ask about this, but you just kind of rolled in, and the laughing at yourself. Also, man, we can't take this shit too serious.
Yeah.
Just like life in general, like, if we walk around like all business all the time, it's like, I don't want to hang out with that guy.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that leads down a path that's just negative. In the end, it just starts bringing up some of the bad things about life and who you are. And I had to learn those things,
Yeah. No,
along the way.
I did too. I've doing podcasting, I've gotten to meet a lot of artists. I've got to meet personal trainers. I got to meet like people in all walks of life, and I realized the ones that seem the happiest are the ones that are doing something that they love, for one, and they're not just beaten down on a 9-to-5 that they hate. And the other ones that are really happy are the ones that are making the effort to get to do that thing that they love all the time. Like I had a buddy, he was working warehouse, but he was doing part-time stuff at the gym, and then now I see him and I'm like, dang, bro's like a full-time personal trainer, like building programs for people. And it's that, like, we sat down to talk on the podcast. That's what he was like, that's my goal. I want to either coach kids in sports, or I want to be like a legit personal trainer and have the before and the after pictures and really change people's physiques. And I'm like, dang. And you look at it like, he's been at it. He stays in phenomenal shape, and he eats clean. He sets the example for his clients, and I'm like, good on you, bro. You put out to do something and you went and did it. And if he never has 1,000 clients, he's still doing what he loves.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I finally got happier podcasting, because for a long time I was like, I don't know, you start podcasting and you think, well, how did these other podcasters do it? It's like, you know what? They're fucking famous. Joe Rogan was like the initial podcast guy. Or you could say like Howard Stern, talk radio kind of. And then when the internet came along, Rogan kind of just took over.
Yeah.
But then you look at like Theo Vaughn, and you look at Bobby Lee, and you look at all these they're already famous.
Right.
So they put something out, just like Beyonce can put an album out and people are going to buy it because it's Beyonce.
Right.
And it's the same thing with podcasters. Like, so I used to really pay attention to the numbers. How many people are watching this? Ooh, how can I get more people to watch this? Who can I share this with? And then I felt like it's so much more relaxed when I just don't care about the numbers. Like, I'm just going to put it out, and if people like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. And I'm not for everybody. I know I'm not. I can piss off some people real bad. And there's just some people that can't stand me, and that's fine. You don't ever have to look at me or talk to me. Delete me for social media. Forget I existed. R.I.P. to me in your mind. That's fine.
But you're doing what you like to do. You're sitting down, having conversations, and
because I've seen people podcast and they're like with their notes, and that's one of the reasons I was like, because if I read off the things for your show, it's gonna sound like monotone, and I'm just like, but the excitement in your voice sells your show. And there's just so much more to this than people really realize on both ends. Social media is a fucking bitch. And if anyone follows me on social media, like, I post crazy shit all the time. Like, bro, I could have promo for this podcast in that garage, pretty drunk with no shirt on, and I was like, why did I acknowledge that I wasn't wearing a shirt? I was like, man, fucking shout out to Ernie, take my phone away, because I was like, why was I just out there like, but
I didn't even notice. I was just like, okay, he's having a good time, whatever. He's promoting. I'm gonna go ahead and share it.
Yeah, and sometimes some people take things way too serious, and it's like, you know what, guys, let's just have some fun while we're at it. Absolutely, man. All right, man.
Life is way too short.
I don't know how long we've gone. I mean, you don't have to go, but you got anything else you want to talk about? You want to touch base with?
Well, first off, for those who don't know, who've made it this far, thank you.
Yes.
It is Mother's Day.
It is.
And I want to shout out a very special lady who's no longer with us, who helped me learn how to play piano when I was a little kid and helped me influence my musical taste, and that is my mother, Frances Lawson Archie. God bless you. I miss you, and I hope you're looking down and you're proud of what I've done as far as my life, my education, my teaching, and then also my music. And you have not been forgotten, and I love you. So first off on that, and if you guys like what you've heard so far, if you have any additional questions, concerns, you guys can go to www.bencjonesmusic.com. There you'll find my dates, you'll find media, pictures, information about me, and then you can also follow me on Instagram and Facebook. I'm on Twitter or X, whatever, but I don't. It's so toxic. Like, I couldn't go on it anymore. I was just like, why are they sending me this white supremacist shit, dude? Like, I'm being triggered right now. Like, anyway.
I've never had a Twitter or an X account. I have a Threads because I was like, what's this? And then my phone installed it, and I was like, oh, thanks, Instagram, for giving me another app.
It's another one,
to look at.
But you guys can go to I'm on Threads too because of Instagram. But at Bencjones Music, you'll find more of my information there. And and I would love for everybody to come on out to the show on June 13th at the Post in Fort Worth. You guys can go to my Instagram, or you can go to my website and you can get the tickets there, or you guys can type in the Post at Fort Worth and then go to shows, scroll down till you see the Bencjones setup. I'm all white.
Yeah.
With the bucket hat.
I like that you're on brand today.
Yeah, I'm on brand, man. I was like,
I do enjoy that because some people are like not on brand, and
I've been lazy for some of the shows, so like I'll just be like white up, or
Photoshop the bottom.
When I was on Jerry Jones, I didn't even dress up. I was just there. I just had the standard Ben look. But I'd love for you guys to come on out, guys. Go there, get a ticket. We're trying to sell it out, and it's going to be an amazing show. Like I said, we got Dave Cave, Riker Hall, Reagan Beard. They're going to be there. Amazing sponsors with Here Fort Worth, Printed Threads, Raw Brewery, The Proper, a cocktail place. I don't know if you guys have ever been there before. It's a pretty legit spot. The Proper, it's on Magnolia.
I think I've been there. Is it next to that Thai place?
Yeah. They got some. They're legit with their cocktails. And the last one was hold on, I got it written down. I just want to call everybody out. Here, Fort Worth, Printed Threads, The Proper. Oh, YDQ Designs. Raw Brewery. All right, I think that's it. I also have some cool sessions with Nile City Sound. We recorded 3 songs over there recently. I'm looking to put some of those videos out. I'll let you guys go to check that out. And man, check out my DFW open mic review if you guys are looking for a place to perform. If you're getting out there for the first time. Check that out. I got a bunch of places I can recommend for everybody in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
All right, one last question I got for you. What's a venue that you miss?
A venue that I miss?
Like here local.
Man. Well, man, that's a tough question. There's I kind of want to say the Fort Worth Live was kind of cool. It's been taken over now by the guy who runs Lola's. It's called Thunderbirds. Okay. And you got to like walk up. It's downtown. You got to walk up these like couple stairs, whatever flights of stairs to get to the spot. But that was kind of a cool spot. I remember when I very first got started doing open mics, I would go there. And just the whole community that was there was pretty cool. And I guess. I mean, I'm going blank. There's a couple other spots.
One of the ones that I liked was Tin Panther, right? Tin Panther.
Oh, the Tin Panther. Yeah.
But those are the owners of Cicada now.
Oh, the Cicada, yeah.
Yeah, which is cool because when you go in there, you can see the Tin Panther.
Yeah, they get that sign.
I was like,
where'd
you get that sign from? He's like, we used to own Tin Panther. I was like, oh shit, that's cool.
That was a fun spot too. I remember going there. Yeah,
the police station was across the street. It was a rough place to put up.
It's just very convenient for my drunkenness. They're like, oh, right over there.
There's the paddy wagon. Just step right in. Just walk out of the bar and get into the van.
Hey, here you are, sir. Let's go.
Yeah, I think that may have been part of the downfall of the Tin Panther. Honestly.
Oh, the location.
So there is the Grotto. Do you remember the Grotto?
That sounds familiar.
It used to be that Taco Bell on University.
I was going to say, okay, yeah.
When Studio 80 was right there on University before they moved downtown. Man, the Grotto was a chill spot, and it was an old Taco Bell, and they turned it into a venue.
There was another one that was off. There's a couple of them that were off the Berry Street. I think there was like the Aardvark.
The Aardvark, I remember.
Was one of them. That was kind of a cool spot. We came up. I was in a band in Austin. We came up to play, and then there was another one like across the street. I think like a basement bar or something like that.
Could have been.
I can't think of the name of the place, but again, these venues, they come and go. Unfortunately, it's just tough to run these places.
Support local music. Support local venues. Support local homies. All that jazz. I mean, that's all we can do.
Yeah.
Because if we want those Fort Worth artists to be those top national artists, they got to start here.
Yeah.
We got to build them up.
Got to build them up, y'all. Well, Rob, man, I really appreciate you letting me come on out here, getting on the podcast, introducing me to your fans, and your audience who don't know me. And I'm very grateful for it, man. So thank you, brother.
Oh, I truly appreciate you coming. This is usually the part where I say, go fuck yourself. But I said I'm going to stop saying that. But you know what? Have a fantastic Sunday. This will be out on Tuesday. So I hope your Sunday that was 3 days ago was good.
And with all due respect, GFY.